Republic restored via GCR, July 10, 2025 update. Wednesday, July 9, 2025, marked a historic turning point. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell officially resigned, sounding the alarm about the Fed's imminent demise and the definitive collapse of the fiat debt system. The message echoing behind the scenes: end the Fed and burn the machine to the ground. Meanwhile, intelligence sources confirm that the military emergency broadcast system is ready to be activated. The so-called EBS will override all traditional media, halting global broadcasts for 72 hours, followed by a total 10-day media blackout. For Asia and Europe, the blackout is scheduled for July 15th to 17th, and for the Americas, from July 16th to 18th. During this period, all radio and TV channels will be taken over by military broadcasts, while the quantum financial system operations come to life. On Friday, July 18th, the public release of the new monetary values begins. This is when the general public, known as Level 5, will have access to financial wallets in the quantum financial system. In parallel, GESARA goes into effect, initiating the massive elimination of debt. Mortgages, student loans, and credit will be cancelled. The QFS absorbs the Fed, repatriating trillions of dollars held offshore, while patriotic banks take over the old financial structures. On July 6, U.S. Incorporated was officially dissolved, confirming that the old system will not return. This military-grade operation aims to return wealth to the people and end the centralized rule of the elite. Everything is being conducted under direct coordination, with the quantum financial system in encrypted readiness mode, awaiting final sweeps in Europe and Canada. After the EBS, the definitive shutdown of global media will be followed by a silent but irreversible reset. Internal documents confirm that on Monday night, July 14th, banks around the world will reset the values of national currencies. By the end of the day, July 17th, the new values will be reflected in energy, food, and global indices. The implementation of the new ISO 20022 format replaces Fedwire's old FAIM, definitively ending transfers in the old format. This process, called Operation Chrysalis, places Treasury nodes in primary control, freezing accounting books that fail to comply with the protocols within 11 milliseconds. Starting July 17th, the so-called rainbow currency will enter global circulation, adjusting liquidity in 12-hour blocks per country. The pace will be steady and silent, appearing first in energy prices, then in food, and finally in major financial tickers. Don't expect confirmation from the mainstream media. They will remain silent until the collapse becomes inevitable. Amid this scenario, the U.S. Congress passed the Big Beautiful Bill on July 4th, a package that reduces revenue by $4.5 trillion and increases the deficit over 10 years, described as sabotage by former Treasury officials. On July 7th, the Senate also passed the Genius Act, which formalizes the legal basis for stablecoins and ushers in the era of a fully programmable digital dollar, granting the Fed the power to eliminate fiat tokens at will. The silent destruction of the banking system is advancing. More than 320 branches have been closed since January, with panic spreading among executives. At the same time, the U.S. debt clock has been detonated. $729 trillion in derivatives now appears as the veritable invisible bomb. This amount was not even a possibility decades ago. Today, it is the definitive mark of systemic failure, exceeding all projections. While mainstream media outlets hide the truth, Ripple and XRP are already working to replace the global financial foundation. This isn't a cryptocurrency, but a strategic infrastructure for real-time asset settlement. With the acquisition of Hidden Road, Ripple strengthened liquidity routes for metals and exchanges, consolidating the XRP ledger as the backbone of a new tokenized ecosystem. The plan is clear: transfer the $729 trillion in derivatives to a programmable, fractionalized, and auditable environment, with real assets like gold, land, and commodities tokenized on the blockchain. There is no going back. The collapse was planned. We are facing the controlled demolition of the largest debt scheme in human history. Everything that previously sustained the system, interest rates, employment rates, supposed growth, were synthetic numbers. Now the collision between financial fiction and physical limits exposes the inevitability of collapse. In short, the debt clock is not a simple counter. It is a war alarm. A countdown to the end of the old financial world and the beginning of the sovereign, transparent, and Sybil of the Quantum Financial System, Auditable Era, Sybil of the Quantum Financial System.